But you stay on hard.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live episode of the BCSN SportsWrap, the longest running HBCU sports show podcast on the mean streets of the interwebs. Bryan and A.D. Drew here, season number 9, ready to recap another exciting weekend, another weather-affected Saturday of HBCU football. And as you can see, Drew, I never thought I'd actually wear this shirt on a Sunday, but I have to stay true blue, even though I'm not buying. I'm not totally all in on the Daniel Jones train or the Daniel Jones experiment, but damn it, he looked pretty good today. So my Colts got to win. So I had to go ahead and rep and wear the shirt.
Well, the good thing about the Colts colors being blue and white, you could be true blue or singing the blues and not having had to change your shirt. So that's number one with that. But Bryan, the grind is real during this time of the year for people in my profession. Because even when you off work, you still working. You know, yeah, well, it's almost like the Head and Shoulders commercial. Never not working, bro.
Never what?
Never not working. Like the Head and Shoulders commercial. Never not working.
There you go. Never not working. Yeah, a good weekend. Week number 2. It's an interesting weekend. You know, as you go back and start to look at the results, I think on an aggregate level, there weren't too many teams that got a win. There were some big upsets, some historic moments. So yeah, we'll hit on all of that. And what I saw that 16 black quarterbacks starting the 2025 NFL season. Of course, the first 2 started on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Then you had
Even
another
had
one
17
on
by
Friday.
count.
I don't think it was 17. I saw a report that it was 16, but neither here nor there. At least half the league as a starting QB of African American heritage. So it's a good representation for the young aspiring quarterbacks. 2 major spitting incidents occurred over the weekend, Drew. One in the pro ranks, one in college. I don't understand it, but and who knows? But one might have cost their team a win. The other one not quite, but it sure did help the opponent. So, man, I tell you. So yeah, we'll get into all of that and a little bit more. Appreciate all of you jumping in and joining us tonight, however and wherever you're watching us. Say hello to everybody watching on my JBN online on the YouTube feed, also watching on the Black Collar Sports Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. What up, Instagram Live? Let me make sure that's working. I know I hit the button. Yeah, Instagram Live is working. What up to folks watching there and so weather delays. Major story was weather, Drew. Man, I tell you, where were you this weekend? You were where?
I was off. We were on a bye.
Oh, no game this weekend for you guys.
So, but I did work the Clark Atlanta Florida Memorial game. And there's some legislation that's going around between the two conferences that Clark Atlanta and Florida Memorial cannot play each other in football anymore unless they play in a dome, because for the second consecutive year, the game was affected by weather. This to the tune of a 1 hour and 41-minute weather delay at the start of the game. And the game was probably under 30 minutes from being just called altogether.
Yeah, you described that. So what time was the game scheduled to kick off?
3:00 Eastern.
3 Eastern, and you said because of that, what if that game had not kicked off at 5 o'clock? You think they would have definitely called that game?
Probably because Florida Memorial had a hard out that they had to get back, because they had to get back on the bus and get back down to Miami, because what a lot of people don't understand is bus drivers are limited by the hours that they can work.
Right.
So, if they, based on how long it takes to get back and their log book, they had to be out the stadium on those buses and on the road by a certain time in order to get back before the drivers ran out of hours. And this is a real thing as an athletic administrator that you sometimes have to deal with outside sports. What is that cutoff time that you have to do to get your team home? And this could be the same thing when the team is flying also. Especially if they're flying commercial versus charter. Obviously, most teams don't fly commercial during football season, but when you get into basketball and some other sports where teams have to fly, this is something else that you have to keep in mind when deciding to delay or postpone a game altogether. Because if you stay, then you got to figure out hotels, food, etc., etc., etc. So there are a lot of variables that go into those decisions that are made when teams decide to play or not play a game due to weather.
Don't they have two? I want to say, don't they have two bus drivers, or is that like a luxury? Obviously, you got to pay two people if you have two bus drivers.
Well, it's usually that, or they do a tandem, is what they call it. Bus driver A will drive, the number of hours that he can and get the bus to a certain city. They'll take their stop there. They may eat. It may just be a bathroom break or whatever, and then they will switch bus drivers, and then the bus driver A is off the clock. They may stay in that hotel. They may actually live in that city. It's all depends on the bus company. And then bus driver B will continue on with the trip. Okay. Or like you said, they got two drivers on the bus, which is really not recommended, because you can't get your rest on the bus if you're a driver. It's much better if you have, I'll meet you in city X and we switch out.
Well, I know Sly the sports guy who's in the chat. What up, Sly? He was, of course, on the call. Yep, on the call of that game on the SIAC network. And the games were shortened to 10 minutes. Now,
no, incorrect, Brian.
That's not okay. Minutes. So what was the
8-minute quarters?
8-minute quarters. Is that all 4 quarters were shortened to 8 minutes?
32 minutes of action.
Holy cow! So basically, you're playing
You had one drive.
That's not even high school. That's not even high school.
That's junior high.
Holy cow! That game shouldn't even count on the records. That game shouldn't even count. I'm sorry, you can't put that game on your records.
You have to get 30 minutes.
Who won the game? Clark won the game, right? 17-12. You can't count that game.
Yes.
You can't count that game.
They played more than half the game. It counts.
Let me see. Oh, because you played 32 versus 30?
Yes.
That is horrible. Yeah.
Eight minutes.
That's my quickest game I ever did.
8-minute quarters. I believe it was a 7-minute halftime. Maybe 8. Brian, you had one complete drive in the first quarter
Probably took the whole quarter.
It took off like 6 minutes, 6 or some change. No.
That's
Let me take that back. You had two scores in the first quarter because Clark Atlanta scored pretty fast to open the game, and then Florida Memorial had another drive that was about 6.5 minutes, and then next thing you know, here's quarter. The only good thing about that, Brian, the game was not a linear game, which means you did not have to deal with media timeouts.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this it's a well-intended between Florida Memorial, who has to travel. Well, no, I'm trying to think. Most of the teams in their conference are within the state of Florida.
All the football playing members are.
All the football playing teams are in Florida. But man, this is the second year in a row. Mother Nature has said that you two good schools, two good institutions. Yeah, you can't do that. That's tough. That should be a good one. The Teddy Keaton show, right on game day, Monday night, 7 Eastern. That should be good. That should be interesting to hear coach's comments, Sly asking the tough questions, I'm sure. Asking, does that rivalry, I can't even call it rivalry, does that series even continue? Given the obstacles that Mother Nature has presented in the past 2 seasons. I mean, in theory, it made sense. We could have had a great game last year. Probably was a good game for the 32 minutes it was played. This time,
it was.
It
was competitive, very competitive game. But unless they play it in somebody's dome, they don't need to play.
Yeah. Well, that's disappointing. Sorry to hear that, Clark Atlanta and Florida Memorial fans. But congrats to Clark. They got the win, unlike the last time, which was a tie, because I believe the game was tied last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the game was tied last year when
like
it got
31
when Mother
apiece
Nature
or
opened
35
up.
apiece, something like that.
Yeah. Man, good Lord. Well, while that game got played with a delay and they had to end, what happened in Delaware was I don't know if it was unprecedented or it was just, Mother Nature did not cooperate with Delaware State in their game against Albany over the weekend. And in essence, what you had was, let me go back and stop and not bury the lead. The lead here is that not only did Deshaun Jackson get his first win of the season, but also his teammate, former teammate, Mike Vick, got his first win of the weekend. And it kind of coincides with the start of the NFL season, the Eagles opening the season at home. You see the symmetry there, Drew? We talk, somebody should have been parlayed. Somebody should have been parlayed the Dell State, Norfolk State parlay. And I don't know what you would have made on it, but you might have made a little bit. You might have made some shopping money or had a good steak and beer. But by all accounts, the Delaware State game had a 7 or 7.5 hour rain delay. And I wanted to pull up that box score here and kind of see I don't know. Do you count the total time on a situation like that, Drew? Does that count as total time?
Yes.
And
then you have notes in there for the weather delay of X amount of minutes. And the reason I know that because I worked the 22 BXWAC Challenge, Alabama State, and I believe it was Howard. When the game that finished at 1 something in the morning after the 3 delays, and that still was a game that was called. That game did not finish. It was called with about 2 minutes to go.
So this was a 1 o'clock kickoff. And then you had a 7.5 hours delay. Yeah, you had a 7.5 hour delay. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard that the game didn't finish until right before midnight. It might have been midnight. Who knows?
So
but
a
anyway,
7.5 hour delay on top of a 3.5 hour football game.
Yeah, am I saying that right? Let me do the math here. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah,
That's
seven
about
and a
right.
half hour. Yeah.
If you do that at a 3.5 hour football game, you're talking almost 11 hours, 10.5, 11 hours. If you say it didn't end till right before midnight, you would be correct.
Yeah. Caden Bennett, the quarterback for Dell State. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the young man that transferred. I forgot where he transferred from. But he transferred right around the start of the season, or right around camp. Right, camp opened up, and Bennett started here. I'm pulling it up here. Senior from Reno, Nevada. Kind of just looking. I'm trying to peep his bio here real quick. See if I can accurately say where he came from, unless somebody's got it. So Steve says it was a 3-hour delay. So not quite the 7.5. Maybe it's the game took 7.5 hours in total. Yeah, okay. So that would kind of fall in line with what I'm reading here in the article. But Caden Bennett rushed for 3 touchdowns, including a game-winning 27-yard touchdown with 34 seconds left. Bennett and running back Marquise Gillis accounted for 369 rushing yards on the day. And this is on the heels of these guys having a good performance or a good showing the week before, right? Just last week against Delaware, they lost 35-17 and showed pretty good fight. I'll tell you, Drew, I'm hearing good reports. I mean, people who had a chance to watch and see, obviously we can kind of see the stats and read the articles, but for people who are actually watching and seeing, I'm hearing a lot of positive praise for Jackson. I don't know if it's all talent versus, seems to be a team that is, buttoned up. They're not really killing themselves. What's your thoughts on this Delaware State? I mean, people are actually considering and talking about Del State as a potential MEAC contender, or at least not in the cellar.
I got Del State more of a contender than I've got for Norfolk State as of right now, because Norfolk State had to come back multiple times, including forcing the game to overtime before they were able to defeat Virginia State. So when you lose to your rival, your Division-II rival, or keep them in a game, that should be red flags. Quarterback, you would think the former quarterback would have the quarterback situation figured out between these two coaches, but I guess not. In that game, Delaware State, Caden Bennett rushed for 3 touchdowns, including the game winner. So, and Delaware State really had control of their particular game, although they did have to score at the end. But 369 yards on the ground, Brian. That's going to win you
546 in total.
Yeah, that's going to win you a lot of games, Brian. That is going to win you a lot of games.
And they still, I saw Mike said, MEAC Mike said they're the fastest team. They still got off 30 completions in that game. You would think when you run for 369 that it was a heavy run game. Well, they did get a lot of plays in. I mean, they ran 59 plays They had 59 rushing attempts and still threw 30. So we're talking almost 90
plays,
offensive
89
snaps.
plays. Right.
Yeah, 89
But
plays. I mean,
those rushing attempts suck the linebackers in, so it should be easy for the quarterback to throw the ball because you can go to a lot of play action with that.
Yeah, now I may have misspoke about the buttoned-up nature. I mean, they did have 14 penalties, 114 yards. But I guess when both teams had one turnover, a fumble loss, so no plus-minus advantage there. But I guess if you're going to have those penalties and still put up 500 yards and hold your opponent to 341, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. And so first home win of the season for Del State and Deshaun Jackson. And they get an interesting matchup coming up Saturday against a CIAA team that we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. And then on the other side, Mike Vick and Norfolk State, man, I'm telling you, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, forcing a game into overtime. Virginia State, I'm sure there's a lot of folks from Virginia State saying we let them off the hook. We let them off the hook. You had them dead to right, and you let them go. And it's kind of interesting that Virginia State had a 57-yard fumble, scoop and score, returned in the game. They actually gave up the lead for a minute. They had a 13-point lead in the third quarter. Gave that up as Norfolk State scored a pair of touchdowns in the fourth quarter to take the lead. Then Virginia State came back and answered to regain the lead with 2:14 to play. And then Norfolk State came right back, 7 plays, 30 yards in a minute and 14. Tied the game up at 31. And then kicked a 29-yard field goal in overtime to win. Wow. And Otto Coombs, who I believe – now, he's the young man who I believe he was flirting with playing as the starter last year and was even on the roster. I feel like he was on the roster 2 seasons ago, or the last 2 seasons under Dawson Odoms. He's not the starter, but he's come in relief in both games over the last 2 weeks and has looked the better of the 2 quarterbacks that they have played in that game. But anyway, Little State saves their reputation, Drew. Almost had the D2 HBCU upset. In front of 22,369 was the attendance. Another good showing. They had 19,000 last week for the opening. Well, on a Thursday for the home opener. They pulled 22,000 for this game. Again, this is a 30,000 seat stadium. And so this is now, I think, the second and third largest non-homecoming attended games at Norfolk State. And I hope they keep this up. I mean, this is impressive. I think if Norfolk State can average 20, especially with these upcoming MEAC games, man, pretty good. What's your take? What's your thoughts there on the Mike Vick experience and holding off Big Brother?
Is it experience or experiment? Because right now it's still shaky. And what do we expect, Brian? This is the first time this man has ever done this. And I'm not going to be critical of the man. Let's give him an opportunity. He's got to go through the growing pains. He's got to find his own way. The toughest thing, especially for an athlete who was as physically talented as he was, is to translate what he knows and what he did to other people who do not have those physical attributes. Michael Vick was a freak. And I say that in a good way. So a lot of people, a lot of athletes have not been able to translate that. We don't know yet with Michael Vick. The jury is still out. Brian, we only got a 2-game sample size. It's all good right now. 2 seasons, then we can make a decision to say whether he can coach, whether he can't coach. Right now, it's too early. But you mentioned the attendance at Norfolk. You realize Tuskegee has drawn 15K for the second consecutive week.
That's nice. I guess I don't know how to compare that. You dropped that on me. What do they average in the past? What is that stadium? I thought the stadium seated at least 10.
Yeah, the stadium seats 10, but you got to realize the first game was played in Crampton Bowl, which is technically Tuskegee's home game, although it was the Red Tails Classic. Right now, here's the storyline. Right now, Norfolk and Tuskegee lead Jackson State in attendance.
Whoa, there you go. There's the story.
That's the storyline.
Oh, somebody put that post out. Who's gonna man? If I had time to do some graphics, there's a post that'll get people hot. Yeah.
No, Steve, Tuskegee don't owe you a game. You guys signed up for the Classic, but technically, somebody has to be the home team, even at a neutral site. So Tuskegee is the home team. They may give you a home game, but they don't owe you the home game.
Oh, interesting. So Norfolk State gets their first win of the season. And after a 27-7 loss to Towson, then they will get a chance to travel up to Rutgers this upcoming Saturday and get a taste of life against a Big Ten opponent, collect a paycheck, and see how buttoned up they can be. They're not the only. What do you say? Go ahead.
I was going to say, how about on the Bluff, man? What happened on the Bluff yesterday?
Before we mention that, I think we got to mention that these two weren't the only Division-I coaches to get their first win of the season. Got to give a shout out to Coach Sam Shade over at Alabama A&M.
Are we going with this NFL thing right now?
Look, I didn't even think about that. I was going to just mention the fact that these guys all did this at home. You know, D-Jax was at home, Vick was at home, Shade was at home for the first time but the NFL angle. There you go. I didn't even think about that. See, Alabama A&M gets their first win of the season under head coach Sam Shade, 41-31 victory over Alcorn State. The Braves fall to 0-2. Both games away. Of course, we know last week the miserable loss to Northwestern State. But this time in a SWAC-ish game, a SWAC non-conference game, right? Cornelius Brown had accounted for 5 touchdowns. I think it was 3 passing, 2 rushing. And I did a little background in just looking at Cornelius Brown. Drew, did you know Cornelius Brown has been playing? He might be the oldest HBCU football player in all of the Division-I or II level. This is his 7th year. 3rd school, 7th year. He might be going for a doctorate. I don't know. He might be in a doctoral program at Alabama A&M this semester. I don't know. Or at least maybe a second master's degree rather. But he started at Georgia State for a couple of seasons, like 2 or 3 seasons. Of course, this was all in 2019 when he's a high school class of 2019 senior. So of course
he got COVID. 20 and 21 back.
Right. He had the COVID stuff while he was at Georgia State. Then I think he transferred to I think it was UT Rio Grande, I think it was. And then the last 2 seasons, he's been at Alabama A&M, and this is his 7th NCAA season.
With them giving you a 5th-year eligibility because of the case this year.
Yeah. I mean,
my
I
God.
need to see him. I need to see like 2 degrees. Like when they do senior night, I need him to like walk with like both degrees and both, you know, in arm. Like, you know, thank you, Alabama A&M, for helping me to not only get my bachelor's, my master's, and even begin my doctoral program.
Only thing you should have to do is defend your dissertation at this point.
At this point.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, Brown looked good. And you know, Brown is one of those quarterbacks, Drew, that remember we were thinking he might be in a quarterback battle with another young man who had transferred from UAPB. That young man made himself ineligible or became ineligible, so we never even saw him go into fall camp. And really, it was Brown's. He was 25 of 34, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for 69 yards and 2 scores. You know, Alcorn continues to struggle, but a good rebound for Alabama A&M after losing the previous week. What was that score? And they lose like Arkansas, like 52-7. They lost to Arkansas.
Something like that. Yeah.
So,
Brian, the only thing I have about this game was Alabama A&M had the game won, in control, and this is where I think that SWAC-ish part of the game came in. Alabama A&M scored another touchdown with 19 seconds to go, when they realistically could have been taking a knee. And because they scored the touchdown, and you had to you went to the chart, you know, the go for 1 versus go for 2 chart. They went for 2 and got to 2. That's why you have a 10-point margin.
Do you really want me to tell me? Do you want me to really tell you what that was all about? Let me let you guess. You really want to know what that was all about?
Let me hear it.
Going into the game, Alabama A&M was a 3.5-point favorite, according to ESPN Bet. So that is called keeping your alumni happy. So the Alabama A&M alumni were probably thanking Coach Shade and the players in some form or fashion, saying, thank you, Coach, for scoring that touchdown and getting us over 3.5 so that it's not a push and that we can actually win and spend some money and go out on the town and have a good night tonight. That's what that was, Drew.
Gotcha.
And if you don't believe me, y'all go look up Lane Kiffin's comments after his game at Ole Miss. You tell me coaches don't pay attention, I'm going to tell you you're lying. Just pay attention. But that's why that happened, in my opinion. All right. Let's take a break. Come back and talk about a showdown on the Bluff, another SWAC non-conference conference game. Yeah, a SWAC-ish game, a conference non-conference game. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what, Drew. In the most recent poll, you know, I know we're voters on polls for FCS. I'm curious, and I'm gonna tease it, and I'm gonna just leave it. How close were you to possibly ranking Alabama State number 1? Because I'm gonna tell you, I was very, very, very close to ranking them number 1.
He said that Jackson State, not me.
Wow. Okay, if we're gonna do that, then I'll do some. I'll go to the data and explain why. But
yeah, you're gonna have to go to the data.
If you're gonna throw me under the bus like that,
I will say the entire of Dr. Cavill's top 7 lost yesterday.
There you go. So it was all up for Potter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break, short break. Come back on the other side. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Hopefully, I'll play some ads that are relevant and not promoting anything that's already happened in the past. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens on the other side. Yeah, I just had, you know what, Zach? I just kind of have there's only a few Jackson State people that I let through my timeline, but most of them, I have them set to the side on mute. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
There's a shot. It might be. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
This is Bryan Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show. Welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Bryan Fulford and A.D. Drew here. How you guys doing today with your NFL teams? I know Sly was happy that his Commanders got a win. Obviously, you can see I'm wearing my Colts gear with pride. If you're a Dolphins fan out there, you got to be like beside yourself. They look really bad. They look really bad. I would be questioning everything if I were Dolphins management after that. Like, really, seriously. Because I didn't think the Colts were that good. Atlanta, the Falcons, you need a kicker. Cleveland, you need a kicker. There's some kickers out there destroying games today. Pittsburgh and the Jets was a great game. Outstanding game. Old man Aaron Rodgers throwing 4 touchdowns. Justin Fields looked like Ohio State Justin Fields out there, Drew. I mean, the young brother was looking great. I don't know. Jets fans, optimistic. The Jaguars, defense. I mean, ooh. Yeah, Lennon, I'm going to block you. If you say any more, look, I'll let you get a lot of way. I can let you get away with a lot of stuff, Lennon, but I'm going to block you. If you come on here talking about Daniel Jones look like Tom Brady. No, he did not. Stop it. I'm not going to that's blasphemous. And and I'm not a Brady guy, but I'm not going to let you compare Daniel. Hell no. Stop it. Anyway. Good stuff. Congratulations on the win, Lennon Blow. It's gotta feel good to be a Spartan. Exactly. Behold, I know my father was happy. They got a win. My mom must have been smiling up in heaven, but good job, Spartan Nation. Congrats again to Mike Vick. Congrats to Deshaun Jackson, and congrats to Sam Shade. All of them coaching and winning their first season in Division-I and getting a win. Now, as you mentioned, Drew, before the break, all of the top 7 teams on Dr. Cavill's top 7 after week 1 all lost. Noticeably missing from the list, though, is the team that, as I was putting my rankings together, Drew, I had to give some serious thought to say, real short sample size here. And this is why we, Black College Sports Network, we don't publish a ranking until after the end of September, after 4 games have been played. So pretty much the first week in November, that's when you'll see the first BCSN top 5 ranking. Division-I and non-Division-I, right? That'll come out then. Because at that point, you've got data. You can really assess who is and who isn't, and then let it play out from there. Because
and you may even have a conference game or 2.
Yeah, exactly. You may even have a conference game or 2. But I'll tell you, the school that has the most impressive Division-I quarterback right now is Andrew Body, with the young man from Dell State coming in right on his heels. I want to give that young man who we just talked about, Caden Bennett. I got to give Caden Bennett some love because he's coming in right there on the heels of Andrew, who had a Heisman level performance in week 1 against an FBS opponent, and then traveling, leading the Hornets down to Southern, helping Alabama State get a 30-7 victory over Southern, right, in a SWAC-ish game. Body threw 2 touchdowns in the contest. Alabama State led 6-0 at the end of the first half in this contest. Before where are my notes on this game at, Drew? Let me scroll up. Shit, I had it. Let me see. All right. Until the second half, when Marcus Harris ended up scoring a 47-yard touchdown run, and off they go. Off goes Alabama State as they would outscore Southern 17-7 in the third quarter, and one more touchdown in the fourth to put it away 30-7. Alabama State covers as a 6.5-point road underdog. Always impressive when you can win as a road dog. Alabama State's defense, a lot of people were saying, oh, you gave up 52 points the week before. Well, yeah, you gave up 52 to a FBS opponent. Well, Alabama State's defense showed up in week 2, forcing 4 turnovers, including 2 interceptions that put it into some Southern drives. And so I asked the question, Drew, how close were you to putting Alabama State 1 in any of the polls that you vote in? I debated seriously, but I left Jackson State at 1 and had Alabama State as 2.
I was not serious about putting Alabama State at number 1. For the simple fact, when everybody lost, and I believe 5 of those 7 losses were to FBS opponents, with the exception being Tennessee State losing to North Dakota State, who might as well be an FBS power because they are the defending national champions. And then, of course, Southern losing to Alabama State. But if you look at the rankings, they were essentially 7 and 8 going into that game. So I think that was probably the main reason, because I did not give Alabama State as much of a boost because of where Southern was at in the rankings. And then the eye test with Southern. We have not seen Southern play at 100% all season. You didn't have Jalen Wood game one due to a self-inflicted situation. Then he gets knocked out of game two, and obviously he did not play at all in game three. So, I mean, you can only play the opponent in front of you, but we have not seen the Southern at full strength yet. But I didn't think Southern should have been in Dr. Kabir's top 7. And I'm not saying anything on here that I have not said on his program. So if Alabama State would have been if Alabama State would have already been in the top 7, I would have considered moving them up to number 1. But you can't jump a team that's outside of your top 5, top 10, top 7, all the way up to number 1 in 1 week. It just does not look right. It delegitimizes your poll.
Well, yeah, it's voters and
Yes.
individual voters. I mean, we are what we are. And Israel, just to clarify, I did not, I voted Jackson State number 1 because I think even though despite the 38-20 loss, Jackson State didn't cover as 13.5 points, which I thought was really low. First off, I thought that's respect towards Jackson State, the fact that you were less than a 2 touchdown underdog. So there was respect there. But I thought they looked okay. They looked pretty good against Southern Miss.
191 yards on the ground, Brian, is pretty damn good.
I mean, that's what they're gonna be. They're gonna be a problem for anybody that has to deal with Jackson State rushing the ball. And you gave up, let's see, Southern Miss had a 30-yard punt return. You can't do that. And you threw 2 interceptions.
Can't do
that either. Can't do that either. So, I mean, the margin is thin. The margin is small. And, who knows? Jackson State, if they don't throw that, if they don't have the punt return touchdown, they probably, and think about that, 30 yards. I mean, that's not a very, if that number is correct, then that's not a very long return as it is. But good to see by all accounts, though, that fans from both sides,
despite the chatter on Facebook.
Yeah, let the chatter stay the chatter on the message boards and didn't bring any drama to the stadium with them.
Although that was a very ignorant post, though. But
I mean, college football has been, I mean, it is what it is. Sadly, ignorant. Look, we see ignorant posts amongst our own SWAC schools. So
not
I mean, why would it be
not that ignorant?
I'll challenge that, but
Brian, my cousin can call me fat. My cousin can call me ugly, but you damn sure better not call me one of them things if you ain't related to me. That's how that is.
Well, two wrongs don't make it right. So, if we're gonna call a spade, then let's be kinder to each other amongst each other as conference opponents and foes, and then let's not try to what do you say? We see worse personal attacks. Yeah. So again, it's good to see that. Hope that nothing crazy broke off in the stands, and so good to those teams.
I just got one question for the Jackson State folk. If any Jackson State folk in the chat actually went to the game, Did y'all eat the chicken in front of their face? Because I know somebody did. I know somebody did. I know somebody ate the chicken in front of their face just because somebody came up beating.
Oh my God.
Just because.
This is stupid. 32,011 showed up in Hattiesburg, Mississippi for that game. And I believe the Sonic Boom made an appearance as well. So next up, we'll get into talking about what's next for Jackson State. But here's the interesting question, okay, Drew? As we move through these Division-I games, this was and you mentioned it earlier. It was blowout city for a lot of FCS teams. By my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got a list of 10 FCS games in which the schools, most of them only scored 1 or no touchdowns, with just a handful scoring 2. And the average margin, if I just had to estimate, the average margin of defeat was in the ballpark of 35 to 40 points. Shall I run down this list, Drew? It's a hell of a list.
I mean, let's make it quick. I'll go through it for you.
Just quickly.
Quickly.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna run through it quickly.
All right. North Dakota State defeated Tennessee State 59-3.
That's the FCS matchup.
Right. Central Florida defeated A&T 68-7. Somebody out here
61 point margin of victory. 61 points.
Temple defeated Howard 55-7. Old Dominion defeated Central. That's North Carolina Central. 54-6. Ohio State defeated Grambling 70-0. Florida Atlantic defeated FAMU 56-14. Thus far, Brian, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games where we've given up 50 or more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, now we're getting into at least we sub 50 on this one. Miami defeated Bethune-Cookman 45-3.
42-point margin.
Cal defeated Texas Southern 35-0.
Let me hold on.
35-3. I'm sorry, 35-3.
That is the only game, one of the few games that Texas Southern covered the spread, because the spread was 44.5, Drew.
All right.
Congratulations, Texas Southern and Texas Southern backers.
Tarleton State made Valley look like the old Valley, 59-3.
56-point margin.
And last but not least, who had Arkansas Pine Bluff as the high scorer of all these teams that we're talking about?
And the lowest margin.
Against Central Arkansas, 41-14. I think the only other team that outscored them who played up would have been Jackson State.
Yeah. Wow.
Who played a competitive
20.
contest.
They scored 20. Man alive.
All right, we're not gonna spend any time breaking these down, Brian. Let's move on to
I mean, there's nothing to break down. I mean, other than just pointing out that it was let me see. Those were mostly paycheck games. I mean, I don't know if Tennessee State got paid to go to North Dakota State. Yeah, wow. Didn't have a first down until the third quarter. Yeah. Is North Dakota State that far? Yeah, they are. Why ask that? That's a dumb question. I started to ask. I think I wanted to ask the question in a different way.
They're that much better than us.
Yeah. Texas Southern's offense, though, man. In game, Drew, I was impressed. At halftime, it was 11-0. So Texas Southern's first half was pretty good. I didn't think Cal is not a very good team. Cal is like maybe the worst ACC team. So 11-0 at the half. And I was really hoping Texas Southern could keep that game under 30. So close. So close. And then a game that we didn't mention here. How about South Carolina State? I think what was the final score against South Carolina? Was it like 38 to 13 or something like that?
I've got another sheet. Give me a second. South Carolina State.
And at one point,
38-10.
38-10.
So
At one point,
28
it
point
was.
margin.
Yeah, at one point, I think it was a rather close. It was South Carolina State had the 3-0 lead at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, they scored
trailed
first.
At halftime. Yeah, they scored first, and they trailed 17-3 at half. Before giving up 21 points in the third quarter. So the middle quarters caught them, but, yeah. But anyway, and that game, the margin was 42.5. So good job, South Carolina State covering 42.5. Yeah. Let's take a break, another quick break. Coming up on the side, the Division II, non-Division I level, produced a pair of big-time wins. An historic night took place in Tuskegee, Alabama.
Game 7 next week, Brian.
What?
Game 7. CIAA SIC tied at 3-3.
Okay, great.
So game
great.
7.
That's a great
game
setup.
7 is next Saturday.
Great setup. Because I want to ask the question, there's a handful of Division II teams that all are putting up some impressive numbers here early. I haven't ranked anybody yet in the Division II level, but what's your top 5 look like in Division II? I think it's pretty tough amongst the top teams. I think it's very tough to rank the top 5. Maybe no, you shaking your head? No, it's easy.
I can come back out the break and give you at least 1, 2, and 3 off the top of my head.
I'd love to hear it. All right. We'll take a short break, come back on the other side. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Hang back for just a second. Drew and I will be back after these words.
For over 30
Turning Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being heard.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan and Drew here. Want to encourage you guys if you guys are podcast listeners, you would do us a solid if you would go to your podcast platform, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and go download the BCSN Pod Zone. Put it into your rotation, hit the notifications, subscribe, download. All of the shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network are on the BCSN Pod Zone. Maybe you missed Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab episode this morning. It's on the Pod Zone. Maybe you missed Carlos Brown yesterday. It's on the Pod Zone. You want to check out a show with a female-centric tone? She Say Sports. You can catch as well on the BCSN Pod Zone. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, go check out BCSN Pod Zone, a production of the Black College Sports Network and Million Podcast, best Black sports podcast in America. All right, Drew, you promised me a top 5, but more importantly, you said you could get. Let me throw you the candidates. Okay, here are the candidates. Before we get into talking about these two major,
I always need the first 3 candidates.
All right, let me hear the top 3 candidates. Let me hear the top 3.
Number 3, Union.
Virginia Union, 1-0, had a win against who is that? 45-6. What was that? Miles?
Yeah.
Miles. Yeah, beat
Number
Miles.
2.
Yeah.
Number 2, Albany State.
Albany State.
Albany.
Have scored a total of 100 points in 2 games and has Rattler Nation worried as hell going into this weekend.
As they should be.
Okay.
And number 1 would be Johnson C.
Johnson C. Smith. Johnson C., who just came off of beating 15th ranked. I think 15th ranked is what they were, Valdosta State. Of course, Valdosta State went to the Division-II championship game under current Prairie View head coach Tremaine Jackson last year. But Valdosta's been a staple of Division-II. I mean, they just got the formula and just continue to do what they do. But I heard. Go ahead.
I was gonna say for 4 and 5, Bryan. This is where it gets a little tough, figuring out which one of these teams is 4 and which one of these teams is 5.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about the top 3 because the Johnson C. Smith game happened last night. They were hosting Valdosta State, and I was listening to the show that came on before us on HBCU Game Day, and the guys who are all out covering contest, Steve, Wally, Vaughn, a couple other guys who I'm not too familiar with them, but they're part of the HBCU Game Day team. I heard Wally mention that Valdosta actually sought out Johnson C. or sought out various HBCUs because they were looking for an opponent and even were willing to travel.
Yeah. Well, can I go into that a little bit?
Yeah, please.
All right. If you look at the Gulf South Conference, I believe, is down to 4 or 5 teams remaining in the Gulf South Conference. So yes, they have games available on their schedule. even to the point where it was rumored that Valdosta State looked at possibly joining the SIAC.
Ooh.
Yes, because geographically, it makes sense. Because the Gulf South and the SIAC have similar footprints.
So wait a minute. The Gulf South is down to 4 teams. That I saw you and Steve both. They're down to. That was a premier conference in division. Where did everybody go?
FCS.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, they have become a transition conference. And Brian, honestly, I expect West Florida to be the next team to make the jump.
Why hasn't that? Look, I know we're getting off on a tangent here. I'm just curious here. Why hasn't Valdosta gone?
Valdosta doesn't have the bandwidth to go to the next level.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have the. Although they have great facilities, they don't have the support athletically that you would need to make that jump. They have support, great support for the level that they're at, and they're good where they are at. They would
and they win, and they're
right.
a contender every year.
Right, but they don't have the financial backing that they would need to make that next jump. They have excellent financial backing at their current level. Brian, that's just like if you drive a Toyota Camry and you can afford your payments on your Toyota Camry and you trade in your Camry every 3-4 years and get you a new Camry, bro, don't go out your lead and buy you an Escalade.
That's a great analogy.
That's
okay, I get that. I can understand that. Okay.
That's Valdosta State.
Okay.
So, but that's why they sought out a lot of HBCUs. But it's for the two conferences, the SIAC and the CIAA. After the first couple of weeks, it is tough for non-conference opponents to play each other. SIAC has a little more flexibility because SIAC has an odd amount of teams, so somebody is always has a non-conference slot available every week. But CIAA, they're done. They play 8 consecutive most of the time.
Gotcha.
Or if they have that one, it's a bye week. So, and nobody's going to give up their bye week for a non-conference matchup during the conference season, especially against a team the caliber of Valdosta State.
Johnson C. Who did they beat last week? I forgot already. Sorry.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't even ask me that question.
Took a second. Sorry. But anyway, Johnson
and
C.
now that you say that, Brian, I don't feel as bad about that loss as I did when it initially happened.
They're a top tier. It should be a nationally ranked team after beating Valdosta 28-16. They got down 10-0 in the second quarter and then went and scored 28 consecutive points. Kel Durham accounted for a 3-yard run, a 4-yard run, an 11-yard run. I feel like I'm missing something here. The box score is incomplete somewhere. Oh, the final score was 21-16. I don't know why it says 20. Was it 21 or 28? Because I'm seeing two different things here on the website on the box score.
Now you got me. Let me just scream through my notes.
I'll just read. Yeah, Durham stats 16-24, 207 yards, passing, and then of course he had the 3 rushing touchdowns.
The official box score is 28, Brian.
Okay, all right. Well, they're missing a touchdown here somewhere. Let's see. In terms of total yard, total offense, held Valdosta to 268, while they put up 316 and 70 plays. And just a good defensive battle. It's all set up. It's all set up for a great matchup upcoming between your number 1 and your number 3. I believe is that this weekend? No, this weekend is Edward Waters and
Union.
Union. Okay.
And now, where does Edward Waters fall in
your top 5?
In my mock poll?
Right.
Now, here's the problem. My next 2 teams are Edward Waters and Tuskegee. Now, I haven't put them in order yet, everybody. I'm just telling you the next 2 candidates, or Edward Waters and Tuskegee for my personal top 5. Now, here's the thing, Brian. Both teams, Edward Waters and Tuskegee, have what you would call a good win.
Mm-hmm.
With Edward Waters defeating Savannah State and Tuskegee defeating Winston-Salem State. But, Brian, they also have that other win with Tuskegee defeating Central State, shutting Central State out on yesterday, and Edward Waters defeated Miles. Both of them conference matchups, but both of them are predicted cellar dwellers in the SIAC. So, my number 14, which victory do I value more? Edward Waters' conference victory over Savannah State, or a Tuskegee non-conference victory over who is expected to be a top contender in the CIAA. I have to go right now. I have to lean towards that victory over Winston-Salem and put Tuskegee 4 and Edward Waters 5 because of history. CIAA was 6-0 versus SIAC last year. CIAA top teams have beaten SIAC top teams consistently. So because of that, I have to value that Tuskegee victory over Winston slightly, and I mean ever so slightly, ahead of the Edward Waters victory over Savannah State. So Tuskegee 4, Edward Waters 5. But Brian, let's talk about another undefeated team in there, Brian. There's one other undefeated team in Division II that we have not talked about, Brian. I wonder if anybody can even put in the chat who the other undefeated team is in Division II HBCU football.
There's 6 of them. There's 6 and we've named 5. We've named 5.
And just FYI, that team that's out there, team number 6, would not be my number 6.
Oh, okay. Nope. See,
no,
Karen
already mentioned. Let's go back. Let's give them again. Number 5 is Edward Waters.
This is your 5, your personal 5.
Number 5 is Edward Waters. Number 4 is Tuskegee. Number 3 is Virginia Union. Number 2 is Albany State. Number 1 is Johnson C. Smith. Who is the 6th undefeated Division II HBCU? Anybody know?
I don't have my Jeopardy music.
I don't think anybody's going to get this one.
Google's a serious thing.
Unless you was watching Dr. Kavir's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab this morning, because I mentioned them on there.
Oh, teaser.
Yeah.
See who was paying attention.
See, you got to go get your extra credit, Brian. That's how you pass your class, by going to the study session and getting the extra credit. Hell no, it ain't Livingstone.
Livingstone did get a good win, though. I think that may have been what led to that. Livingstone, who did they beat? Allen. They beat Allen 28-17. CIAA over SIAC.
Yeah.
We're looking for the 6th.
The thing with that game, nobody has seen the stats because the stats are still incomplete for that game.
There you go. ODB's got it.
Which one, ODB?
Could you be a little more specific? Because there's a few of them out there. There's a few of them out there.
Yeah. Emmett, the other undefeated Division II HBCU. You got it, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And I got no, Emmett. No, see that's why we asked you to be specific, Emmett. No, it is not this one. No.
Lincoln, Missouri, 2-0.
Lincoln, Missouri is 2-0. Let's see, Brian. This is so interesting. First of all, full disclaimer: I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. Lincoln is the HBCU football playing institution, one of two HBCUs in the state of Missouri, along with Harris Stowe State University. Now, I was actually living in Jefferson City, Missouri, when Lincoln restarted their football program in, I believe it was 2000. They started to ramp up in 99. They played in 2000. Here we go, Brian. Yesterday, Lincoln defeated someone whose name also was not Lincoln, as in Lincoln of California, for the first time since 2019, Brian. It gets even deeper. That's their first win over Lane College since 2018. These two teams have, I guess, a little bit of a rivalry. That 2018 was also the last time when Lincoln was over 500, Brian. You know why they were over 500 in 2018? And technically, they were not over 500 in 2018. But retroactively, they were over 500 in 2018. Because the NCAA gave them a game because somebody played an illegal player in game one. So this is the first time they've been over 500 on the field. Now, this is also the first time that Lincoln has won consecutive football games since 2013.
2-0.
2-0.
Back to back. Making history.
Making history, Brian.
Feels a lot like last season. We were talking about a lot of schools from the CIAA making history, winning games, having winning seasons after years of futility. Yeah, it feels pretty similar. Good stuff. Well,
thank you, ODP.
Last night in Tuskegee, Alabama, it was a historic night for the Golden Tigers as they played their first game under the lights at Cleve Abbott Memorial Alumni Stadium, and they got a shutout, 34-0 victory over Central State in front of over 15,000 fans. 15,000 fans. Yeah, forgot about Booties.
15,422.
15,422. To improve to 2-0 on the season. And you know, on the heels of a 20-17 victory over Winston-Salem State, the Golden Tigers forced 2 turnovers from Central State, put up 295 yards. And overall, a good performance by Tuskegee. Drew, what did you get a chance to talk to anybody? You know, I know you have connections, obviously. Did you talk to anybody who attended the game? What are some of the reviews?
No, Brian, but they all over my timeline of the reviews from the game. So all I had to do was just log on to social media and see the pictures, all that good stuff. And I wish, a part of me wishes I could have been there for that, but I also know the logistics of it. I did not want to deal with the logistics of being at that particular game.
You didn't want to call Reginald Ruffin and get cussed out for asking for free tickets or sideline passes?
I've got a pass, so that wasn't a problem.
I know, I'm just messing.
But No, I just didn't want to deal with the logistics of that game because there's a lot of unknown. And great job to Tuskegee, the police department, the sheriff department for doing what they did in that game, because obviously we all know what happened homecoming last year. So I think a lot of people felt like they have overcorrected some of the holes that they had that led to the incident at homecoming of last year. But what more do you expect? You're going to overcorrect when something tragic like that happens on your campus, and I have no problem with that overcorrection. But just I almost feel like kind of like with Greg Coleman, who was calling the game on HBCU Go. There's just so many memories for me in that stadium. As a basketball coach, going on the out there working out with the basketball players, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning at that stadium, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So just those things that I remember. So I'm glad, I'm happy for it. Let's see if Tuskegee, probably won't happen this year, but in the future starts playing more night home games, because that could potentially be a great revenue booster. And now that you have lights at the stadium, you might be able to host a few more events at the stadium and draw additional revenue into the athletic fund.
Looking at the schedule on GoldenTigerSports.com, there are no more scheduled night games this season. Every other game right now is scheduled for like a 2 o'clock Eastern kickoff, which is 1 Central.
Which is normal kickoff time.
Okay. Yeah, including the homecoming game on November 1st.
Oh, you do not make homecoming a night game.
Well, I'm just mentioning the fact that there are no other night games at Cleve Abbott Memorial Alumni Stadium, and really outside of the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic, the only other night game they'll play will be when they travel to Benedict on a Thursday night on September 18th for a 7 o'clock Eastern game. So, and
I'm glad you said that. Now this actually allows the flexibility for one of the big boys, ESPN, HBCU Go, to flex a Tuskegee game to a Thursday night game in future years.
Right. All right. Before I want to mention the Pick 5 contest and give a shout out to, those who played week 2. A lot of people went unbeaten in week 2. Any other games of note that you wanted to make mention of from Saturday, or news stories to make note of?
How about Albany State whooping up on Kentucky State? Isaiah Knowles, Bryan, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 touchdown passes. They averaging 100 points. And this game was close until they decided not to make it close. Until late in the third quarter. This was a close game, Bryan. I looked up in the middle of the third quarter.
You mean they total 100 points. They're not averaging 100 points.
I'm sorry, they totaled 100 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say don't get people more up in a panic than they already are in Tallahassee. Folks are already kind of on the edge.
Six touchdown passes, Bryan. I mean, that's ridiculous, Bryan. They look like they are ready to play. They are going to give FAMU fits. If they can deal with the physicality, and I'm gonna say this, I don't know if FAMU is.
I think they can. I think they can. I think they can deal with the physicality. It's gonna be a good game. I think it'll be a better game than Look, the last time Albany State came in there with Coach Giordana, that was a competitive contest. And, I think that Albany State team went to the championship game that year, if I'm not mistaken, the conference championship game.
I think they lost to Miles that year.
Right.
Miles.
Yes.
One other undefeated team, Brian, and they slipped under the cracks because they only have played one game. They had a week 0 bye. Is Bowie State versus Shippensburg. They defeated Shippensburg 23-7. Quarterback Malik Anthony connected with Challenger Valentine for a 29-yard touchdown, while the defense added points with a scoop and score by Samuel Graham. The Bulldogs had 145 rushing yards and forced 3 turnovers.
I'm seeing a lot of people mention Hampton's 27-20 win over Elizabeth City State at home. And I saw the picture. I should have saved it on social. There's a controversial ending apparently in the game in which, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe Hampton had scored with 39 seconds left on a 47-yard run to score and take a lead 27-20. And then Elizabeth City State apparently on what would have been the final play had gotten all the way down to on a pass completion here on a 1st and 10 on the Hampton 23. A pass towards the end zone was ruled down at the 1 yard line, but then there is video evidence, Drew, that the actual receiver was in the end zone. And I don't know if it's one of those situations where he was in the end zone and came back out and went down at the 1, but the picture I saw, and I wish I had thought to save it and show it. He looked in. I don't know. Where did I sometimes you can, on Twitter, you can like something and it'll save that image. Hold on. I found it, Drew. Okay. This comes via, and I guess this is a video image here. So this comes via, I want to give the person credit who took this. A screenshot from All Eyes on MEAC is the Twitter handle. And this is the picture in question, Drew. Let's see how quickly I can pull it up. Okay, look at this. This apparently is the final play of the game.
Bad angle. It's good picture. Good picture, bad angle.
Well, I think this is the video angle. Obviously, this is a video. I'm just looking at how you not reach the ball. You're right there. How do you not reach the ball? Anyway, bad angle for the official, who you can see the official is behind the play.
And that's where he's supposed to be. He's in position.
Yeah. Is there replay in D2, Drew, here? And this was a Hampton game, so Hampton is the home team.
Well, that definitely was replay at this game because that was a Division-I game. They was in a Division-I stadium. At Division-I, I think all Division-Is are using the DV Sports replay system. Yeah, but the flow is not the official replay angle there, Adam. They have a specific system. Now, you can use the TV angles into the system if you set it up in that manner, But just because the TV broadcast or the stream has an angle does not mean the referees have access to that angle.
Which that should blow your mind if you're processing what Drew just said. You should be like, what? You don't have access to the same angle?
No, because the systems don't necessarily talk to each other.
Okay.
There will be there can be separate cameras for replay that are not as part of the broadcast. Now, once again, you can use certain broadcast angles for your replay, but it's not mandated. So I don't, and that's usually based on a conference ruling on how you do that. Division FCS has it as a minimum standard, and then conferences may add additional things to that. But I
Can I
know
give some credit?
Can I say something? Can I say one other thing? SIAC is implementing replay this year. It is highly recommended, but I don't think it is 100% mandatory yet. But they're giving us to conference play to figure out replay in the SIAC.
Let me give a quick shout out to Elizabeth City State, who, again, down 7 with 39 seconds to go, starting on their own 26-yard line, matriculated the ball all the way down to basically the 1-yard line or end zone, compared, depending upon who you want to believe or what you think.
Officially the one.
Officially the one, well said. First and 10, they complete a 21-yard play to their 44-yard line. First down, clock stops. Then on first and 10 on the 47, go incomplete pass, right? Doesn't show me how much time comes off the clock. Second and 10 on the 47-yard line, there's a roughing the passer penalty called against Hampton that moves the ball 15 yards, and now the ball moves from the ECSU 47 to the Hampton 38. Another first down and 10 at the 38. Incomplete pass. Go to second down and 10. Incomplete pass. Third down and 10. Pass complete. Pass interference called on third and 10. Ball moved to the Hampton 23. And that, of course, leads to a timeout by Elizabeth City State. Interesting that they still had a timeout at that point. And then one last opportunity to throw what would be a 22-yard pass officially and come up 1 yard short of the end zone officially. Wow. Yeah, so, yeah, just give those guys some credit. Shout out to Elizabeth City State pushing Hampton to the verge of what could have been another fourth quarter collapse if you combine what they did against Jackson State. All right, Drew, got to take a second to give a shout out to the folks who participated in the BCSN SportsWrap Pick 5 contest for week number 2. A host of people went 5-0. It was one of those weekends, Drew, where, everyone kind of went 5-0 because everyone's picking against HBCUs. I mean, look, you guys do what you do. We did not put any games against Power 4 teams. So the Grambling Ohio State
FCS games were enough, Ryan.
Yeah. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people went unbeaten, 5-0, including me. Good weekend. 2EB, by virtue of the tiebreaker, ends up with the top spot for the week, but that really doesn't matter because it's a year-to-date which matters. And year-to-date, there are only 4 people left, Drew, that are unbeaten. Champ D, of course, that's I believe that's our one and only David L. Rhodes. ODB, who I think is in the chat room. I think that's ODB who it plays in our contest. He is unbeaten, or that person. I'm assuming it's a he. Then you've got SBTHAP, unbeaten, and then Timona. She loves the podcast, undefeated. She does a really good job on this. You know, she has been the last 2 years we've done this contest. She has finished the year top 3 each year, and you know, she just, you know, don't let anybody tell you Timona doesn't know football, because she seems to do a good job of picking every year. And then everybody else falls in line. You know, you saw Things Up podcast, Flicks, 9-1, G Boom 9-1, PV versus everybody. I got a couple of stains on my shirt, so I'm sitting at 8-2. But you know,
Brian, you could tell who picks with their head and not their heart.
Yeah. And look, I mean, the amazing thing is, Drew, you know, some of these folks, they weren't in the contest in week 1, but it'll all balance out over the course of the season. That's what I say. It'll all balance out. I'm looking at a question here on YouTube, or not YouTube, but Instagram Live from Just Drew Show TV. Ask the question, Drew. Do you think we will ever get to see a D1 HBCU team make it to the CFP playoffs? Well, never say never, but I doubt it.
A D1 HBCU make it to the CFP?
It says the CFP playoffs, so I'm assuming
we got to get a. Can we table this until we even get a HBCU to FBS?
I think he's just looking for hope, Drew.
I'm looking to win the Powerball too.
Well, you missed that boat. If you were shooting for the 100 or the 1 billion, you missed that one.
I don't care if it's 5 billion. I'm still gonna be happy.
All right. He says he's still be happy. Whatever. Let's take a look at.
Yeah, thank you, Emmett.
What did he say? Hold on, I was in the middle of downloading. What did he say?
Not even another FCS has been to a bowl since FAMU in '78.
Yeah, well, okay.
In other words, not in our lifetime.
There's always a chance, Drew. Even if it's 0.01, that means there's still a chance.
You know what there's a chance to do right now, Brian? There's a chance to take this break before we get into next week.
All right, it'll be very short because we're almost here to close out time, and I need to get a few picks in. The NFL is kicking my butt again, as it always does. I don't even know why I continue to put myself through this every week.
I don't know why you got a better chance of college.
I do. I have a better, I had a good Saturday, a great Saturday, and then I should just stick to playing my fantasy league games and, you know, my pick 5 contest and all that other stuff, and really leave the other stuff alone, because it just, you know, the one year the Colts decided to show up, they cost me. You know, that's all I can say. I mean, we've been losing for 13 straight years, 11 straight years, and now thanks to the point shaving Dolphins, they want to. Anyway, all right, let's take a break. Damn Dolphins. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. We'll take a very short break and be back right on the other side. Hit the thumbs up and the like button if you would. Appreciate your support. Be back in a moment.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the
Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Football.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Just a reminder, later on this week, you can catch the Monday night review of the Florida A&M FAU game via the ONG Strike Zone Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. Tuesday, it'll be Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. The first episode featuring Doc and the sports professors, Charles Bishop, Mike Washington, A.D. Drew, or others. And then on Wednesday, the Indy Report featuring David L. Rhodes, Jeff, Tariq, and Brandon covering Hampton, North Carolina A&T, Tennessee State. Give that angle and perspective as those guys represent those schools real well. And then, of course, the ONG Strike Zone, Wednesday, 8 Eastern, all right here on the Black College Sports Network. So we got you covered. Check out the BCSN Pod Zone as well. I think Charles Edmond, his Cedric Thomas show covering Alcorn State sports will air. That'll drop on the podcast, I think, Tuesday. But all right, Drew, week 3 is coming up in college football, HBCU football. And I think it's interesting because while week 2 represented the first weekend where you saw the paycheck games, as evidenced by some of those blowouts, where you saw a lot of FCS schools playing up, this weekend is loaded with Division II schools playing HBCU FCS opponents. So right. I took a second to kind of spotlight a host of games, and you'll see from the list of games for week 3, majority of them are D2 versus either SWAC or MEAC opponents.
There are 8 of those games between the two conferences, Brian.
Yeah.
There are 8 what you call get-right games. 5 in the SWAC, 3 in the MEAC, where you have a Division I playing a Division II. But, Brian, let's also flip that. There are 7 get-bounced games once again this week. Those get-bounced games are our FCSs going up to play an FBS team. So let's just keep that in mind. This is the 1 week where we've got games on both levels.
Interesting. And I found these to be the more interesting games. I didn't spotlight it. Look, we've come to the point where I think if you're being honest with yourself, we're not really competing and getting victories in those matchups against FBS opponents. Although maybe there might be an FCS game or two, right? Wait a minute. What did A&T Roy say?
Always say their name first.
Why? Alphabetically, it's not first. It's always Hampton first. And they've got more. They've got more. Hold on. They've got more wins over the last 3 seasons than your school. And I probably should mention Tennessee State first if I'm really counting wins.
And you also list a visiting team first when doing these graphics.
Where do I not list the visiting team first?
Actually,
where don't you see the visiting team first?
Union is at Edward Waters. You got it backwards on your thing.
Is it really?
Yes. Union is at Edward Waters.
Okay. And you know what? I thought, because I know that's the Unity Classic, maybe I thought that was a neutral site game.
No, it's a home game for Edward Waters.
Okay. So that's okay. Thank you for the correction. Thursday night, that game, where is that game or an
in
ESPN?
Atlanta?
Well, obviously, I see it's in Atlanta, but where I was going is is it an ESPN game or is it an SIAC network game?
It's a U game.
Okay, so ESPNU, Fort Valley State at Clark, on the red turf. Always interesting to see that. What is that? A 7:00 kickoff? 8:00?
Question. I'll be in New York, so I really don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You'll be in New York on 9/11. Wow, that'll be is it the 25th anniversary too?
No, next year's 25.
Next year's 25. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Thursday, 9/11, Fort Valley State at Clark. Should be a good contest. And then you have the Unity Classic. Virginia Union traveling down to Edward Waters. The one common opponent that both teams have had has been Miles, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
I don't know if that's a measuring stick, Brian.
Not because what did Union beat Miles like 45-6. What Edward Waters did something similar to Miles.
Yes, it was 41 something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. All right, so that's a push. Advantage push.
46-14. 46-14.
Okay, well, still, multiple touchdowns, more than 4, still a beating. So, I guess it says a little something that this should be a good ball game. I don't know how to handicap this, or other than to just say this is going to be a fun game to watch. And I think this could be the test. And I say this all joking aside, with what is next for Edward Waters, not that they're looking forward, so I'm not going to mention it, but if you know, you know. With this week and next week for Edward Waters, pay attention to Edward Waters, who potentially could be 4-0 and not only have a win over a CIAA team, but also a Division-I opponent, if it all works out the way I think it might. And then we have to really put Edward Waters into the conversation of being a contender in the SIAC after next week. Is that fair?
And Edward Waters has a favorable SIAC schedule also, where they have a schedule which gives them a clear, easy path to the SIAC championship game, because they avoid a lot of the big traditional powers of the SIAC this year.
Correct. And thank you, Steve. This is a good matchup between two HBCU national championship coaches as well. Conference and HBCU football. So this will be a fun one. Who's carrying that game? Is it SIC network game or is it ESPN game?
I'm going to have to look. Let me see
I'm
if
on
I
the
can
schedule
find
right
it.
now. Why not just look, right? Why don't you just look? You're right there. Let's see. Schedule. SIC. It's a SIC network broadcast. So hosted by Edward Waters. Apparently it's a 4:00 Eastern kickoff.
And that's standard start time down there.
Yeah. Although this says 2:00 on the website, so I don't know now. The SIC website says 2:00, but you click on the link and it said 4:00. So
go by the school's website. The school's going to be more accurate than the conference.
Gotcha. Okay. So, all right. So that's in Jacksonville, Florida. Should be a good game. Bowie State at Dell State. Unbeaten Bowie State. Going up to Dell State. We like what we've seen from Dell State. Interesting to see, is Bowie State, could they be as competitive as Virginia State was towards Norfolk State? If Dell State gets the win, we'll be talking about this time next week, the last time Dell State was over 500 in the season.
Just like we did Lincoln, Missouri.
There you go. Yes, indeed. Miles at Alabama State. This one has been a classic each of the last 2 or 3 seasons they have played. Is this an annual game between these two, Drew, or are we just in a cycle?
They've made it into one, but Alabama State will win this game by 40.
Ooh. Well, the way Miles has been playing and the way Andrew Body and Alabama State has played, Andrew Body should be done by halftime. That's all I'm going to say.
One series in the third.
Yeah, it should be done. Are you at all interested? Is your interest peaked about Tuskegee's chances at Jackson State? When's the last time Tuskegee played at Jackson State? It's probably been a while.
Comagee was coaching at Jackson State, and Tuskegee won the game.
Ooh, the Comagee Bowl. Can we call this the Comagee Bowl?
Yeah, maybe.
No.
I want to say maybe 16, Brian, 14, 16, somewhere up in there when those two played each other. Because that was the year, and I remember this specifically, Tuskegee beat 3 teams in the then SWAC East. They beat Jackson State, they beat Alabama State, and they beat Alabama A&M all in the same year. And this is doing those great runs that Tuskegee had in the early teens. Now, I don't know if they've met since then, but I vividly remember that one. Because we walked around with T-shirts saying SWAC East champions.
Ooh, wow. Somebody please pull out those shirts for this game. Somebody who has, I would love for somebody to have that shirt on at this game this weekend. Scheduled for 3:00 Eastern kickoff, according to the SIC website.
Gonna be interesting to see what the crowd is going to be at that game, Brian.
Yeah.
We know Tuskegee travels well. I think Tuskegee fans are more excited for this game than Jackson State fans are excited for this game. But Tuskegee will bring a plethora of people into Veterans Memorial Stadium there.
I hope Jackson State has more than 13,000 people. Or
Tuskegee can bring 13,000 by themselves. So
I'm just saying, I hope Jackson State has more than 13,000 people in attendance. That's all. That's all I'm saying. No shade. Fayetteville State at North Carolina Central.
Yes, Tuskegee was hell back then. Go look it up. And here's the thing, Emmett. Tuskegee was overshadowed by those great Winston-Salem State teams during that same time, but Tuskegee was on that level. If you remember those Winston-Salem State teams that made it to the championship, up under Connell Maynard.
Fayetteville State at North Carolina Central, in-state battle between one of the CIAA's best schools over the last several years. North Carolina Central, they've taken their lumps the last 2 weeks. I mean, after an impressive opening game, talk about a get-right opportunity. But Fayetteville State got beat, 10-0 on the road to Benedict. Had a bye week. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this one. All right, thank you, Israel. So we can't call it the Comedy Classic. It's the W.C. Gordon Classic. Thank you for clarifying. But yeah, no. This is going to be interesting. I think Central needs to play well. They need to play well, just like FAMU needs to play well. They're bringing Albany State to town, former legend and quarterback of a Black College National champion, Quinn Gray, will be in town. FAMU's 0-2, averaging, let me do the math here. Is it 11.5 points a game? Albany comes in averaging 50 points a game. Oh man, the storylines, right? They can't. I mean, the people will be ridiculous about this all week. Just
Quinn Gray has Albany State looking like FAMU looked when Quinn Gray was playing quarterback.
There you go. Which that part has a lot of Rattlers upset because they miss those days. I mean, you still compare
Brian,
everything to those days.
Brian, that part has a lot of Rattlers upset because a lot of Rattlers wanted Quinn Gray for their coach. Let's move on to the next game.
Yeah, let's move on. Kentucky State at Grambling. I saw somebody say Grambling will get their first win. You must have missed week 1 when Grambling beat Langston 55-7. Grambling
Don't sleep on
picking
this
up
Kentucky State team.
Yeah, Grambling State picking up blowout wins against sub-Division I teams, and then losing to
Ohio State
FBS opponents 70-0. So who can gauge what Grambling is and isn't? I mean, that's got to be frustrating. Anyway, Morehouse and Howard, the New York City Classic? Is that name?
At the HBCU NY Classic.
HBCU NYC Classic. Give us
no C.
Oh, okay.
NY.
Well, there's a C in Classic.
Yeah, but no C in NY after NY.
Oh, I see. NY Classic. All right, give us a tidbit, Mr. Morehouse SID. Morehouse versus Howard.
Howard owns the all-time series against Morehouse 28-10-2. Howard owns the all-time series 28-10-2. First game was played in 1923. Morehouse probably played one of its best games of the year last year against Howard. This game is going to come down to, can Morehouse stop the Howard run game versus whether Morehouse's offensive line can give quarterback Miles Scott any type of time against Howard. That's what you are looking out for. Obviously, I can't prognosticate the game, but those are just some of the keys you want to look out for.
Okay, good stuff.
1 o'clock kickoff on HBCU Go.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Way to go. A matchup between two programs coached by former NFL players. Alabama A&M Sam Shade, Tennessee State's Reggie Barlow. Both teams are 1-1.
Hour and a half apart.
You what?
They're an hour and a half apart from each other on Alpha I-65.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so over under. Again, this is being played in Nissan Stadium. They had 8,000 for the season opener, which was 3 or 4 higher than previous average. Okay, over or under 12,000 in attendance for this game. I
thought you were gonna set it at 10, Brian.
I was close. Okay, I said it at. I thought about 10. I almost said 15,
12,
but I'm gonna come in the middle. 12.
12 is a good number because if it was 10, I would have taken the over. With 12, I'm probably going to take the under.
Oh, that's embarrassing. That is flat out embarrassing. You got to be able to do better than that, Tennessee State fans, Alabama A&M fans. If it's less than 12, I mean, less than 12 is good compared to what they've had, but it's still embarrassing. All right. And then you've got a CAA matchup between the only two HBCUs in the conference, Hampton at North Carolina A&T. I will encourage everyone. ODB said push. Good stuff. Way to pay attention, ODB. Appreciate you. Make sure to tune in to Wednesday's Indy Report. North Carolina A&T, Hampton should be a good conversation as David and Jeff talk about this game from the A&T and Hampton side. Did we settle the debate about the best 0-2 FCS team? Did we ever get to that?
No, we didn't get to that.
This is a good lead into that, just shortly. Just real quick.
All right.
Let me get one thing. Go ahead. We can come back to it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because we're going to get that to get out of here. But let me give you the we had the get right games, and then now you got the beatdown games.
The beatdown games. Okay, God help us.
Or get drubbed games. All right, here we go. The get drubbed games for the week are Alcorn State traveling to Mississippi State. Unlike the mistake I made this morning where I thought I read Mississippi Valley State, it is not Mississippi Valley State. This is Mississippi State.
So you had Alcorn fans excited because they were thinking they were going to get their first win, and then when you had to clarify, it was like, oh hell, that's a loss. Okay.
Well, I actually was like, that's going to be a good game because if Alcorn State loses that game, they're going to push Coach over the ledge. Anyway,
0-3, staring at them in the face. 0-3,
especially with a loss to In-State Mississippi Valley. Anyway, we have to say that one for later on. Bethune-Cookman, no, I'm sorry, not that one. Lamar, Texas Southern.
Winnable game for Texas Southern.
Yes. Mississippi Valley State, Southeastern Louisiana State. And I know that some of these are the same level, but how about Prairie View and Rice? At least they don't have to go too far for that one.
No, they don't have to go too far.
Southern and Fresno State. Those are your MEAC beatdown games. Going to the MEAC.
You mean those are the SWAC?
I said, what did I say?
You said
those
MEAC.
are the SWAC. Those are the SWAC games. How about the MEAC? How about Toledo, Morgan State?
Shout out to real quick. Well, I was talking about Morgan State. Shout out to Zach McKinnell, Blue Bloods, Blue. He put me on to Morgan State home against Towson on Saturday. Morgan State plus 350 on the money line, loses by 5 late in the fourth quarter, but they had I think either a special teams and a defensive touchdown scored by Towson is the reason why they ended up losing that game. I mean, should have been a Morgan State win. But anyway.
And our final beatdown game is our final get drubbed game is Rutgers and Norfolk State.
Well, didn't Rutgers just beat Howard by 55-7? When was that? Was that Howard who Rutgers just beat? 55-7?
Temple beat Howard.
Oh, that was Temple.
55-7.
Okay, I'm sorry. Temple,
Yeah.
Rutgers, Northeast, Red, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
those are all your beatdown games.
All right. The last thing, little question, little debate that Drew and I were trying to figure out. Who's the best 0-2 team right now amongst the HBCU FCS teams? And the only reason this came up is because I was talking about this from the perspective of trying to figure out how you put a top 10 together when you have so many 1-1 or 0-2 teams. And I really feel like I felt some kind of way about some of the 0-2 teams being a little bit better than the 1-2 teams. I really did. So here's your candidates. So look, among the best 0-2 teams, right? Just give me maybe your top 2 or 3. It is messy. I know, Edwin. Sorry. I'll be real quick about this. Some schools I think we can throw out. Like, I don't have to mention Bethune-Cookman. I don't have to mention UAPB. Can we agree to toss them out? And I would even maybe mention
Alcorn.
A&T as well.
So Alcorn out the window too.
Valley. Okay, so that leaves us with maybe 4 schools, right? Morgan State, FAMU, Texas Southern, Hampton.
Got 2 people who said Morgan. Got one person who said Valley. I'm leaning Texas.
Wait a minute,
Southern.
somebody said Valley? Really?
As a Owen, yeah, they should have beat Southern.
Yeah, but they just got beat 59-3.
But look who they played. We knew what the assignment was, Brian. Go in there, don't get hurt, collect a check. Do not land on go to jail, Brian. That's all that game was.
Doc asked an interesting question. This is why I say this, because I feel like there's a couple of schools who are at 0-2 right now that are actually better than a few 1-1 teams. That's just how I feel. That's me, a very small sample size based off what I've seen and what I think I know. Now, I could be wrong in 2 weeks' time, which I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. But
yeah, well, here's the thing, Brian. When I'm this early in the season and I'm voting, I take out all 9-level games. If you play the FBS, I do not hold that against you. If you better hope Doc's not grading your paper right now, ODB. But and if you played a Division-II, I do not give you any credit for it. So when I vote during this time of year, I only look at a like level game.
So wait a minute, are you counting the FBS games
on your level? If I'm doing a FCS ranking, I'm only looking at FCS opponents. If I'm doing Division-II ranking, I'm only looking at Division-II opponents when I'm doing my evaluation. So, but I do think Texas Southern deserves to be up in there because Texas Southern had an opportunity to beat PV. So I think
lost on the last second play.
Yes. So
and the game won until they didn't.
So using my philosophy, taking the FBS game out, Texas Southern deserves to be up in that conversation also.
Well, okay, with that same philosophy, would you give FAMU, who lost on the last second field goal, would you give them the same consideration that you give a Texas Southern?
I still put them behind Texas Southern. But here's the thing. Texas Southern looked good in their win. Texas Southern looked good in their loss. Fam just looked horrible in their loss. No touchdowns, Brian. I can't give you
on
credit
the
for that.
offensive side of the ball. You're saying they look bad, but you're discounting how they looked on the other aspects.
Brian, defense may win championships, but damn it, you got to put some points on the board.
Okay. All right. And where do you evaluate Morgan? They lost 28 seconds left in the fourth quarter, ended up losing to Towson. The game against South Alabama, they lose by 17, but if I'm not mistaken, the stats showed that they outgained South Alabama, or they were like right neck and neck with them. Yeah, 3 total yards, 367 to 340. First downs, 19 to 17. They were blow for blow statistically hanging in there with South Alabama.
I give Morgan their props. Towson, like level opponent, opportunity to win the game. So Morgan State's definitely in the mix. A&T week 1, not a bad performance, especially when you consider where A&T came from to what they did week 1. Now I still put A&T behind those other teams, but considering not a bad performance. A&T is above Alcorn. In my book, A&T is above UAPB. A&T is above Bethune.
Doc, I didn't pick FAMU in my top 10 rankings. I don't think I did. If I did, I put them at 10. I don't think I did, though. I think I left FAMU off the top 10.
And deservedly so.
And look, I did. I left them off. And again, Edwin, why mention FAMU? Because again, if like Drew said, if you can mention again, we're just really. I think if you're putting together a top 10 at this point in the season, it's hard. I struggle to even doing a top 7 because
Brian, it's hard
I don't think
in November sometimes to put together a top 10.
Right. Again, that's why I said that's why I love when we do top 5. I can get you 5. 7, man, 7 gets hard, especially this point in the season. 7 is hard, and then trying to do 10. 10 is hard. And so that's why
impossible.
Well, it's not impossible. That's why I did the whole best 0-2 team, because at that point I had to look at and how am I evaluating these 0-2 teams. And I did similar to what you just did. I looked at, who you lost to, how you lost, taking all that into consideration,
Thank you, Doc. Which is why we only do 5. And I like your split, Doc.
Oh, okay. Well,
Doc split at 7 is perfect. And if anybody has ever stopped to figure out why 7 is a good number, there are 21 FCS teams. 7 is 1/3 of 21. That's why that's a good number. Plus 7 is the number of completion.
All right. Well said, Drew. Well said.
I'm getting
all right. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Again, should be a good week of listening to coaches talk about the things they didn't do well, what they're going to do to change things up for the upcoming week. Your fan bases, hopefully you guys can use some perspective when you're in your message boards and when you're complaining in private to other people who share similar compassion for complaining. And don't be so judgmental. It's still only the week 2, week 3. Don't be so judgmental so early. Wait until after September before you become really judgmental.
Brian, with that being said, we are 2 Sundays before the ledge conversation starts back again. You have to discount. You have to discount this Saturday because we've got so many beat down games or get right games. So, which means
if you
next
lose,
Saturday. Wait a minute, hold up. Which means next Saturday is when people will really start evaluating and start handing out tickets to the ledge party.
But if you lose to one of these D2 teams this week,
in the get back game, the get right game.
All right, I'm gonna leave you with one final question, and then we're gonna close the show. If I gave you $100 of free money, which Division II team is beating an FCS team this weekend? If I gave you $100,
obviously I can't put it on my own
free
team.
money.
I can't put it on my own team, so I've got to leave that one. If I'm going to go with one, Kentucky State over Grambling.
Really?
Would be my number one. Albany State over FAMU would be number two.
Okay. All right. There it is. There's your schedule for the week, folks. That's a new segment coming up. Bishop's HBCU Sports Ledge. There you go. Love it. New segment coming up on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. All right, guys. Hey, do us a favor. Hit the thumbs up and the like button, however and wherever you're watching the show. Try to have a good week. Check out the BCSN Pod Zone everywhere you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, iHeart. ODB.
Yes, you did ODB. You're at the top. So there.
Yeah, congratulations.
You got
Congratulations.
Now get off my screen.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. Week three will be posted. Probably will be posted on Monday or Tuesday. So for those of you looking, it'll be there. Thank you guys for watching the show. As always, we always appreciate you and appreciate all your feedback. Find us on Twitter, social media, wherever and however. Hit the thumbs up. Share the show. We've seen some great numbers. Our numbers are spiking. Our audience is growing. And that's because those of you who regularly watch, you do a great job of sharing. So we appreciate you sharing with your feeds, with your friends, your family. We keep meeting a lot of HBCU fans wherever we go. All of our shows do. So on behalf of all of the shows on the Black College Sports Network, we say thank you for supporting and watching our show and our content. So for A.D. Drew, I'm Brian Fulford. Thank you for watching tonight. Have a good Sunday night and a great week. And we'll do it again this time next week. God bless and good night, everybody. Peace out.
Travel light, everybody. We'll holla.
But you stay on hard.